Hello there. Hello again. Today we'll be reviewing another multi-tool. This time I did also get this tool from Menards Farm and Home, but I did not buy it for myself. My good friend got it for me as a generous donation to my channel. Today we will be looking at the Gerber Dime Multi-tool. Awfully small multi-tool, but it's packing a lot of tools that we'll get into in just a second. So I got this tool from Menards, as I got it for about $16. It is fairly small, decently small. I'll grab the gold standard for a comparison. It is roughly about a third of the size of the gold standard, although it is fairly heavy. It is basically just a solid hunk of metal with how much tools they have in there. I do really like the design of this. Gerber's always made some really cool looking tools. Has that red gray, looks really nice, and it's kind of like has a glitter sparkle to it. It does look a little tactical, a little bit more futuristic compared to other multi-tools, and I do like it a lot. This bottle opener right here is probably one of the best attractions to it. It definitely adds a bit onto the design. Also, it does go into pliers, and that little thing gives you some leverage on your hand. Now the pliers are spring loaded, so they do go back to shape. You can see the spring right in there, so it is possible to take it out maybe if you really wanted to. The pliers themselves do not go to a very fine point. In fact, this is a pretty broad head for pliers of this size. It has no needle nose pliers, normal pliers, and then wire cutters. I did try to use the wire cutters on these things, and it did not go too well. I will say that. I was messing around at work and cutting some paper clips, and there's a couple times when it failed, so not too hopeful about that. Probably just due to the sheer size of this. Probably couldn't handle very much. It is really handy. They are really small, and they go into a decent pair of pliers compared to this one. It is fairly small. They are relatively comfortable in your hands. As you can see, this side is tapered a little like that, and then this side's tapered a little like that. Convex and then concave, I think. I don't know. I don't remember much from math class or geometry. They do have a bit of give in them, which I don't really trust. Oof, that give is just staying like that. It's not good. Interesting. So that's all we have for the pliers. Not much more to say about that. They do snap in there relatively nicely. Next up is the knife. No wait, box cutter. It just has a generic box cutter / box opener. Not much else to it. Relatively sharp, but not too sharp to where your boss will come in and say, "Why are you using that? You're supposed to be using work safe equipment only," or something like that. It does not have a locking mechanism. Well, it kind of does. It's like one of those, I don't know how to say it, but just like a snap locking mechanism. There's only 2 tools on this side, which kind of makes me sad because it looks like there's a lot more, but that is not a tool. That is the spring mechanism for the pliers. Next up, we got the generic knife. Now, the only problem I have with this is that it is not as center with the tool as I would like it to be, but other than that, it's on a good side. I would hate it if it was sticking out on this side, not on this side. The blade is in a good position, and the blade is pretty sharp. Sharp enough to, I don't know, sharpen a pencil or whatever. Peel some skin off my fingers if I wanted to. It is fairly long compared to the tool. It's about an inch and a fourth, maybe inch and a half, compared to the tool, which is about 2 inches. So not terrible. Next up, we have the other side, which does have a lot more tools packed into it. So we have a pretty decent file. The file is actually well made. It does definitely file your nails or whatever you're trying to do with it. We have a bastard file and then a casual crosshatch file. It's kind of in a bad spot with this bottle opener right here. The bottle opener is about half the size of the file, so it kind of blocks it in a way. On top of this, you could call it a Phillips head screwdriver. It would definitely work for that purpose, but not very well. I guess you could also use it as a pry, although I wouldn't use this small of a tool as a pry bar in the first place. Next up, we have a large flathead. So there's not much else to this, just a generic flathead. It's in a good spot in the tool, in my opinion. It's somewhat centered, not entirely centered, but it is fairly well made. Doesn't feel like it's going to slip it up out of that position anytime soon, so I give that a pass. So we got two tools on that side. On the other side, we got another tool, which is a pair of scissors. Now personally, when I was using these scissors, they did not operate very well. I kind of have to put pressure on towards this way to make it actually snip, or else otherwise it's just going to be kind of loose. Yeah, it does have a spring back mechanism, which all scissors should have, and the scissors are fairly small, about the cutting size of my fingernail right there, compared to the where is it? It's in my pocket. Compared to probably the largest scissors I have in my arsenal, the diesel scissors. Yeah. Pretty small scissors, but they, if you really wanted to, you could get the job done with them. So, these don't fold back into a weird position. You just go like that, put them in there, and that's it. This does have a little keychain hook. Let me get a regular key size. Regular key to compare it to. So we got your regular house key right here. It is approximately the size of a key, depending on what kind of key you're using. And you could definitely just hook it onto your keychain like that, nice and easy. But it does weigh a lot compared. It weighs about this thing weighs about a half as much as all my keys put together. So it ain't light for a multi-tool this small. But otherwise, neat little tool. Would I get it? Would I recommend it? Personally, no. The construction on this thing is kind of shoddy. Like I said, a lot of multi-tools have give to them, like in the pliers where you squeeze it as hard as you can, it kind of goes together. But most of those tools go back into their original shape. But with these ones, I found that that's not the case. These used to be a little bit more far out there. They used to not be so close together like that. They used to be like that. But now they are like that after using them for about a day. So would I recommend these? No. For $15, it's a neat little gift, but it is impractical in use. Would not be a good multi-tool. Overall, rating-wise, out of 10, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Just because it's a neat little tool. It's well designed, well planned. Just made out of cheap materials that like to bend and not bend back to their shape. Design is cool though, I will give it that. Oh yes, I forgot one more little tool. It does come with a pair of tweezers, which are awfully small in case you get a splinter and you don't have a nail and you just want to pick that out. It goes in a little slot right here inside the chases. Slides in there, and it's fairly well hidden. I don't think it would come out on its own naturally. But yeah, that's the last tool. Like I said, would not recommend getting this thing. Pretty meager construction. Doesn't really hold its shape very well. Other than that, decent tool, decent multi-tool. Anyways, that's it for today. Have a good day.